Hello everybody and welcome to a new exciting video. Today's topic is a two-parter. One today and one for next week. Before we begin, I recommend bringing food for both videos that are going to be released this week and next week. And I hope you enjoy today's topic. So, let's begin. My topic today is pretty simple. I'll be comparing the OG series, D, B, and Z, and Super from both a storytelling-wise and animation-wise. Part 1, this part today, will be storytelling and narrative, while Part 2 will be the animation. Let's start. So, how about we start comparing? As for the original series and Super, I think via story, the OG series, not Z, the first 6 arcs of the franchise, are better than Super. Here's why. While Dragon Ball's first arc is flawed, it has a better introduction than a series like Super. Or it has a better introduction than Super. It explains what the story is going to be about from the first episode, who the characters are, and what their motivations. Super's first episode is just a nothing episode. It's just like some stuff happens and that's it. And the first arc of Super is a retelling of a movie. So it's like, what's the point? And not only that, the plot points that are mentioned in this arc are even worse than the movie. Some stuff they ruined from the movie. What? Super and DB have also another similarity is that they have tournaments. In both of their tournament arcs, DB has 3 while Super has 2. DB's tournament arcs are much better in my opinion. Why, you may ask? Well, Dragon Ball's arcs, as in the tournament arcs, had stakes, personal stakes, as in for the character stakes, and world stakes. World stakes in the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai with Ma Jr., aka Piccolo Jr. The personal stakes, I'll explain it in a second, but let me go to the world stakes. Or actually, I'll explain that when I go to the Universe Survival arc. The personal stakes are when you watch Goku, time and time again, try to get the championship. And over time, we're invested with Goku's character because he's the main character and he gets some character development and we care about him because each arc has character development, etc., etc. Well, until Goku became a plot device because the Piccolo Daima arc, but that's beside the point. But, that's the point. And as for Super's tournaments, the Universe 6 arc practically has no stakes because either way, the outcome is positive, so it doesn't matter who wins. So we don't care what happens, because the outcome in the end is positive. The USA arc had stakes, but thanks to the final episode, which had 17 Wish Back All the Universes, there is no stakes anymore. And as an example for DB, which means it did it better, look at the Ma Jr. arc, or the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai arc. When Ma Jr. or Piccolo Jr. wanted to threaten the world, he fought Goku. And Goku and the gang had a legitimate reason to fight over in the tournament, to stop Piccolo. That's an example. And as for the series arcs, Piccolo Daima arcs and Black arcs, I think Super takes the win here. Why, you may say? The Black arc has much more interesting villains, and they don't make bad decisions for the sake of it. While the finale of the Black arc is bad and has a lot of Aspals and characters earning things they don't deserve, the Piccolo Daima arc has Goku's Aspal power-up via the Super God Water, the Choshinsui, in which he defeats Piccolo with not going with training at all. Like, he doesn't train at all. He just drinks something and gets an Aspal. It's also the arc where the Goku plot device, where he comes at the last moment and saves the day, is introduced. And the fight with Piccolo Daima, Demon King Piccolo, is pretty generic. It's very generic. Because there was a formula in that fight where Goku punches Piccolo, he gets hurt, starts complaining, and then Goku does it again. Rinse and repeat. Also, Piccolo's a pretty generic villain, if I might say, because unlike Zamasu, Piccolo doesn't have any reason to be evil besides being Kami's evil half. But then he becomes good. Of course, Piccolo Jr. is Piccolo. They're the same person, but Piccolo Jr. is basically reincarnated Piccolo. But later on in the Saiyan arc, Piccolo would become a good guy. That means he would have changed. Zamasu and Goku Black, on the other hand, are amazing characters who have amazing motivations, And while Zamasu is a bit whiny, Goku Black manages to capture both his motivation and badassery. So he can be cool and do his motivation. Much more interesting than like Jiren, or Piccolo, but yeah. And he does stuff quickly and finishes stuff quickly. Unlike Piccolo, who didn't immediately kill Goku in the second time. Like, he toyed around at first and then started getting serious. But yeah, he ate it up because of that. So for this section, Super has 1. But Dragon Ball 1 because, the tournaments and the first arc. So 2 for Dragon Ball, 1 for Super. As for Z, let's start with my favorite arc in the franchise, the Saiyan arc. The Saiyan arc, let me just say something before we start. Because all the series arcs of Z, because all of Z's arcs are series, I'll compare them to the Black arc only. Because that's Super's most serious arc, and in my opinion, Super's best arc, but that's for another time. The Saiyan arc has had a few flaws, including in the beginning, but even with that, the Black arc finale is just way worse. And even the climax. The Saiyan arc's climax, Goku versus Vegeta, it was cool, but it also had strategy and made sense. The Black arc's climax, episode 66, was cool, but it mostly didn't make sense. For example, the Batara retcon and the Spirit Sword thing that Trunks did. So I'm going to have to give Z this point. But the Freeze arc, we're going to have to give it for the Black arc. Why? Because the second half of the Freeze arc is basically bad storytelling. For example, the Ginyu having no purpose except to come and leave, Ginyu not knowing his own technique, the Raccoon fight basically being the Nappa fight, copy and pasted, Frieza's fight before Super Saiyan Goku arrives is pretty pointless, and even until he goes into his full power mode, it's very pointless. Why, you may say? Because he would have, or could have, used his full power from the beginning and killed everyone. The idea of giving a villain a transformation ability is good, like for example Vegeta in the Saiyan arc, but when he can do it at will, and is not using it efficiently, which helps my last point, is bad. Goku's behavior after Super Saiyan is just random. Like, he doesn't want Frieza to power up, but then in the next chapter he wants him to power up. He wants Frieza to get cut in half, but then he doesn't want him to get cut in half. It's just, his behavior is completely random. As for the Cell and Buu arcs, let's start with the Cell arc. The Cell arc is way worse than the Future Trunks arc. Here's why. In the Cell arc, the characters act so dumb. Like, the characters before the Cell arc and after the Cell arc are completely different, and make a lot of stupid decisions. And there are some plot holes, which, for example, how Cell comes back and how the time travel thing is really confusing in this arc. And don't even get me started on how the Future Trunks arc makes it worse. But this arc is the one who started it. The villain, Cell, is amazing for the most part, but he does some stupid things too. But it's not as bad as Majin Buu, though. But we'll get to that in the Cell arc. Like, for example, when Cell lets the guys train to let them fight him in the Cell games. That's a pretty bad decision, Cell. Or when he gets cocky after getting his semi-perfect form, like, I'm the best guy ever. But then he gets his ass kicked by Vegeta. Speaking of Vegeta, Cell arc Vegeta is just awful. He's just awful. He's a waste of time. He's annoying. He interrupts the story more than once and is acting way too dumb for his character. After the Namek arc portrayed Vegeta as a genius, a bastard genius, like he's a ruthless bastard, but also a genius, in this arc he just looks stupid. But there are a lot of more bad stuff in the Cell arc that I didn't mention, but I feel like the worst contender here is the Buu arc. Oh boy. I may take a while for this one, but I'll try to make it short. Just like the Cell arc, a lot of the characters make stupid decisions. But in this case, the villains are also lame. Super Buu is basically a lame or perfect Cell. Like, if you noticed, Super Buu, after absorbing Gotenks, or actually when he absorbs Gotenks, he becomes just a lame or perfect Cell, where I want to be the strongest and like that, etc., etc. While Majin Buu, Fat Buu, and Kid Buu are serious, or interesting, they don't take the amount of screen time Super Buu does. And the fight with Gotenks is pretty wasteful. It's a waste of time. And really, Gotenks should have finished Buu from the beginning. Same goes to Gohan's fight. Vegeta's pretty cool though. But Boo or Goku? Boo or Goku? Boo or Goku is the worst anime character and version of Goku that has ever existed. Seriously. He could have ended the arc much earlier, but he didn't because of a stupid plot point that he did in the Cell arc, and it didn't work back then, and it still didn't work, but he still does it, and wastes the entire arc, and also does a stupid decision to fight Vegeta from the beginning of the arc, which makes the entire arc exist. But Vegeta in the Boo arc, however, is a pretty good character. And he finally redeemed himself here after his dumb behavior in the Cell arc. So, yeah. Super, in this case, gets a 3. Because it won against most of Z. And besides the Saiyan arc, Z is actually the worst series out of all the 4 series. Yeah, I'll get hate for that. Or I'll get hatred for that. But I think it's true. It's my opinion, though. If you disagree, comment down in the comment section. And if you have any criticism, please leave it in the comments and explain why you didn't like this video so that we improve. Lastly, I'd like to thank my editor for editing this video. His Instagram is going to be in the description. Go check him out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. And don't forget to stay bad.